All right, beautiful people. Let's see. I believe we are live. We should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and get everything pulled up. Let's see here. My channel. Okay. I believe we're good to go. How's everybody doing tonight, you beautiful, beautiful people? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all doing amazing. We were here last night. We had a great stream last night. I wanted to just kind of go off the back of that and have another stream tonight. We got Sky in the house. What's up, Sky? Welcome, dude. First in the stream tonight. We're going to be talking about behave as if you are healed. This is going to be a good one. You know, I feel like we talk about the mental side of things a lot here on the channel, and I try to have a good mix between the two. I try to have, you know, we got two main keys, right? We've got the mental side of things, which is to not fight mentally with your thoughts and feelings, and then we've got the physical side of things, which is the behaviors, you know, the way you behave, show the brain that that danger isn't real, right? The language that the brain speaks is behavior. So we've got our two main keys, and we've got those two main keys for very specific reasons. So I try to have a good balance between talking about both of the keys here on the channel. The mental side of things, right? The accepting inner voice instead of fighting with thoughts and feelings. And the physical side of things, positive behaviors. And tonight is going to be a positive behavioral stream. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. That was a mouthful. Anyway, let's see who we've got in chat. We got Louise, what's up? We got Jen, what's up? Ivan, Mint, what's up, guys? Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're all doing fantastic tonight, beautiful people. Hope you're all doing amazing. Welcome, welcome. We're going to have another good one. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get our music ready for post-stream, all that good stuff, so we can be ahead of the game tonight. Let's get ahead of the game. How's everybody doing, man? Tell me how your day's been. How have you been? Talk to me, chat. Let me know how you've been. Let's see. All right. I think we got everything ready to go. How many people we got in here? We got enough to go ahead and get started? It's been forever since I heard this signal. I felt like my favorite TV show stopped airing or something. Yeah, we did have that, what was it, 7-8 days there where we didn't do any streams. But we are back. Your favorite TV show is back, Mint. We are back. All right, guys. I think we've got a handful of people in here. That should be okay. I think we can go ahead and get started. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So tonight's stream, behave as if you are healed. Like I said, we try to do a fine mixture between the two main keys here on the channel. We talk about the mental side of things. Now I want to talk about the physical side of things. If you'll notice, if you've been watching my shorts on the channel, I uploaded several shorts recently about behaviors, right? About physical behaviors and how you should conduct yourself and carry yourself with your behaviors. And I uploaded those shorts, and a title of one of those shorts that I uploaded was "The Bare Minimum Won't Cut It." So that's really what I want to talk about tonight, guys. That's really what I want to talk about. Behave as if you are healed. So a lot of people tend to get confused on what their next move should be, right? Like, let's say, for me, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning right now. Let's say I'm sensitized and I'm sitting here at 3 o'clock in the morning. You guys know that I love to teach through examples. I'm sensitized and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and my mind is racing, you know, intrusive thoughts and feelings, and I don't know what to do about that, right? What could I ask myself? Well, in that moment, what could I say to myself that would give me a clear objective? I feel like people need a clear objective, right? So many people overcomplicate recovery. So many people overcomplicate what they need to be doing. So many people are obsessing about recovery, which is ironic, right? Which is ironic. So what is something that somebody could say to themselves, right? To themselves that gives them a clear objective. So again, in my example, I'm sitting here, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's say I'm just totally sensitized. I've got a ton of intrusive thoughts and feelings in my body. What could I say to myself to give myself a clear objective? I'm going to behave as if I'm healed, right? That one line, take that in for a second, digest that. That one line, I'm going to behave as if I am healed. Also, also in the chat, yes, we are not recommending psychedelics for any anxious person. Could we have someone delete that comment, please? I'm going to, Jesus Christ, I love you. I love you, chat. You're wild. I'm going to behave as if I am healed, right? That is your clear objective, and that needs to be your clear objective no matter what time of the day it is, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you feel confused and you don't know where to go, you don't know what next step you should take, you don't know what you are doing in that moment, and you don't know where you should go from here. Behave as if I'm healed. Okay, what does that consist of? If you were healed, I want you to think about how you would be acting, how you would be carrying yourself, and what you would be doing right now in this moment. And I want you to realize this applies to when you are triggered. This applies to when you are triggered. This applies to when your anxiety is through the roof. This applies to when you are triggered. A lot of people only behave as if they're healed, right? Positive behaviors when they're feeling well, and that's not going to cut it. You have to behave as if you're healed even when you're triggered. That's when it matters the most. Anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. So if you behave as if you're healed, but you only do that when you feel up to it, it's just not going to cut it, right? So again, in this example, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you are very, very triggered. This is when you need to behave as if you're healed. This is when you need to remind yourself that your simple objective is to behave as if you're healed. Now, what does that look like? It can look like many different things for many different people. We'll start with the basics. So number one, that looks like a total cutting out of any sort of compulsions or coping methods, right? So that's the very basis. If you're going to behave as if you're healed when you are triggered, because again, that's when it matters, when you are triggered, not just when you feel well, that's not going to cut it. So what does that look like? Cutting out basic coping methods and compulsions. That's the first step to behaving as if you're healed. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you are very sensitized, anxiety's just all over, symptoms, intrusive thoughts, blah, blah, blah. The first step, get rid of coping methods. Get rid of the compulsions. So if you're laying in bed, right, you can't sleep, but you're laying in bed because you're too afraid to move. Well, then the first step to behaving as if you are healed would be to get out of bed, right? Would be to get out of bed. And then the next step, and then we go through the steps. The next step to behaving as if you're healed would be to, let's say you've got a bunch of Google tabs open, Googling symptoms and reassurance. The next step would be to close those tabs. Right? So again, you're behaving as if you're healed, so you got to get out of bed. You're behaving as if you're healed, so you got to close all those Google tabs out. You're behaving as if you're healed, so let's say you're on the phone talking to somebody about anxiety and they're like your safety blanket. Okay, well then you really need to either change the subject to something that's not anxiety related so you can stop trying to get reassurance, or you just need to hang up the phone completely, right? So the first step to behaving as if you are healed is to cut out as many compulsions and those coping methods that you can discover, right? That you know about yourself. You have to be self-aware. So that is the first step to behaving as if you're healed. Coping methods, compulsions, trash them. What is the next step, right? You've given yourself the objective. Okay, tonight I'm going to behave as if I'm healed, although I feel like crap. What is the next step? Once you've gotten rid of and you've closed out and you've thrown away the coping methods and compulsions for the time being, the next step would be to do something, right, productive, to do something fun, to do something positive, right? The next step would be to do something that is in line with a person who is already healed, okay? Now, some of you out there might be wondering, what is it, why is this what you're telling us to do? Why is behaving as if we're healed something that you are recommending? And it's because that is the language that the brain speaks. Take a look around. Is there a real tiger in the room with you? No? Okay, well then you need to act like it. So if you're doing things only because you're anxious, if the things that you're doing, if the ways that you're behaving, guys, you're only behaving those ways because you're anxious, well then you need to behave a different way. Right? So if you're only laying in the bed because you're anxious, then you need to get up. If you're doing the compulsions and the coping methods because you're anxious, then you need to get rid of them. If you're avoiding doing that sink full of dishes, for example, because you're too anxious to do them, you need to go do the sink full of dishes. If you are postponing your shower because you're just too anxious to get into the shower right now, then you need to go take that shower. See, if you're doing anything, and it can be big or it can be small, you need to make the corrections. If you're doing anything with your behaviors because you're anxious, then those are anxious behaviors, and the brain's not dumb. The brain can pick that up, right? A lot of people think, oh, well, tonight I'm feeling extremely anxious, so I'm not going to play the video game I usually play. I'm not going to talk to the friends I usually talk to. I'm not going to do the housework because I'm feeling anxious, so I'm just going to give myself a day where I just don't do anything. It just doesn't work like that. Now, that on a logical level, like, on the surface, somebody might argue and say, well, that seems reasonable. They're just having a very anxious day, so they're just going to do a negative routine today, and that's okay because they're having a very anxious day. So that seems reasonable on the surface, but when you understand that the language that the brain speaks is behaviors, you can start to see why it's not reasonable at all to base your behaviors around feeling anxious. right? Can everybody see that? When you start to understand, excuse me, that the language that the brain speaks as far as setting your anxiety levels is one of behaviors, then you start to realize that no, it's actually not very reasonable for me to behave the way that I behave when I'm anxious, because now I know how the brain works. So make your objective very, very clear, right? I'm going to behave as if I am healed. I'm going to behave as if I'm already healed. And from this day forward, yes, it might take some forcing yourself. Yes, it might not feel quote unquote real. But again, the brain's not going to discriminate, right? The brain's not going to say, Rick, thank you so much, dude. I'm going to read that amount and the tip note as soon as we're done here. Thank you so much, Rick. Show him some love in the chat. The brain is not going to discriminate, guys. It's not going to say, okay, tonight they were feeling very anxious, so they got up and they used positive behavior, but they were just forcing that. They were just faking that, so that doesn't count. No, that's not what the brain does. It's very much a machine. It says, okay, if they're behaving like there's a tiger, there must be a tiger. If they're behaving like there's not a tiger, then there must not be a tiger. And in time, not instantly, I know you want it to be instantly, but in time, it'll make the corrections. Right? It'll make the corrections. It'll say, okay, they've been behaving like there's not a tiger for a little while now, so there must not be. So again, just to try to keep this as simple as possible, there's a few things you need to understand. It does take time. A, it takes time for the brain to catch up. And B, you need to be doing this while you're triggered. So many people, man, and this is not the main point of the stream, but I feel like it's a crucial point of the stream. So many people come in and say, hey, I do behave as if I'm healed. I go to work, I do this, and then I say, well, what do you do when you're really anxious? Or when it gets to a really high degree of anxiety? Then what do you do? Oh, I shut down, right? Then what do you do? Oh, well, then I give myself, they like to call it a break, right? Oh, God, the amount of times I told myself I was giving myself a quote-unquote break is absolutely laughable and ridiculous. Oh, I give myself a break, right? Guys, it only counts if you're doing it while you're triggered. Anxiety learns while anxiety is turned on. So if you're one of those people who say, oh, well, I do behave as if I'm healed. Do you? Do you really? Do you really? When you are triggered, when you feel like utter crap and your anxiety is really high, are you actually behaving as if you're healed in those moments? Or are you only behaving as if you're healed when you feel a manageable level of anxiety? Oh, I'm doing positive behaviors, Wonder Bro, when my anxiety feels manageable. But when it's really high, nah, no thanks. Right? We'll see, it just won't work that way. So am I asking you, and I know we're a little all over the place, but there's just so many things that go into this topic that I want to make sure I cover. So forgive me for that, but my mind is just bouncing from topic to topic, but these are all very important points. So when I ask you, are you really behaving as if you're healed? Can you say yes to that, or can you only say, yes, I behave as if I'm healed, but only when my anxiety levels feel manageable, right? But only when my anxiety levels feel manageable do I behave as if I'm healed. Well, you need to behave as if you're healed even when you're triggered. Even when it's at its most intense, right? Now, am I asking you to do a million different things and to just have a nonstop busy day? Of course not. What can be a positive behavior? Kicking your feet up and watching a movie can be a positive behavior, right? Is it going to necessarily feel good to make yourself doing that when you would rather pace around the room? No, it's not necessarily going to make you feel good, but that's a positive behavior because you're not acting as if there's a real tiger. And that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Doesn't matter if it feels good to use positive behaviors or not. That doesn't matter. It just matters that you are using them. It just matters that you are not acting like a tiger is present. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter about the time. Doesn't matter how it makes you feel. It just matters that you are acting like a person who is already healed to show your brain that the tiger does not exist. All those other little variables don't matter. Time and positive behaviors aren't making me feel good. Okay, well none of that matters. The brain will catch up in time, right? The brain will catch up in time. So you got to understand, you are going to have to force yourself. You're not going to feel like, okay, listen, your mind and body, when you're anxious, guys, your mind and body thinks there's a real tiger getting ready to rip your freaking throat out. So knowing that when you're anxious, your mind and body thinks there's a real tiger that's about to kill you, do you think you're going to, and I want chat to answer this, please partake. If your mind and body thinks that there's a real tiger in the room with you about to kill you, do you think that you're going to feel like using positive behaviors? Can somebody answer that? Do you really think that you're going to feel like listening to music or keeping your chin up, good body posture, or taking the trash out, doing the dishes, talking to your friends? Do you really think you're going to feel like doing any of that? Cooking a meal, eating slowly, making sure you shower, taking care of your personal hygiene. Do you really think you're going to feel like doing any of that? Any of those tasks and any of the things that go into doing those tasks? Do you really think you're going to feel like doing any of that when your mind and body thinks that there's a danger that's getting ready to end your life? Because that's what your mind and body thinks when you're anxious. Your mind and body thinks that there's a tiger getting ready to kill you. So if we know that when you're anxious, your mind and body thinks that, do you think that you're going to feel like doing positive behaviors? Of course not, right? Of course not. I'll go ahead and give you the answer. Of course you're not going to feel like doing positive behaviors. Of course you're going to want to do anything but positive behaviors. You're going to want to do the complete opposite of positive behaviors. You're going to want to do coping methods. You're going to want to do compulsions. You're going to want to sit in the corner. You're going to want to stop talking and freeze up and get all quiet and stop talking to your family and friends and stay in the same corner and not play the video games and not play the sports and do the hobbies and do the dishes and do the housework and do the cleaning and do the picking up and do the dancing and the singing. And of course you're not going to feel like doing any of that when your mind and body thinks that you're about to die. Right? But here's the thing. That sounds like a depressing message. That's not a depressing message. Hear me out. I got another point that I'm going to make here. If of course you're not going to feel like doing those things because your mind and body think you're about to die, what would happen if you do them anyway when your mind and body think you're about to die? Now we're talking. So what would happen? Of course, you know how bad you don't want to do the positive behaviors because of how anxious you feel? Imagine if you did them anyway. What would that tell the mind and body? You got a mind and body that thinks you're about to die, but yet you're listening to music, right? And you're accepting the thoughts and feelings as a false alarm. You're not fueling them mentally. That's one of the two keys. Don't fuel them mentally. Just give yourself an accepting reminder, okay? And positive behaviors. You're doing that. Your mind and body thinks that you're dying. Of course you're not dying. Take a look around. Is there any real threat? No. But you're up listening to music. You're up talking to friends. You're up having a conversation. You're up cooking dinner. You're up doing the dishes. And you're really triggered. Yeah, because your mind and body thinks you're about to die, but you're doing these things anyway. What is that going to tell your mind and body? Eventually, not as quickly as you would probably prefer, but eventually your mind and body is going to say, wait a minute. Last night we told him the whole night that he was about to die, and we gave him a big false alarm all night, but he just played a video game and watched a movie, and then he ate dinner, and he ate it nice and slow, and then he talked to his friends, and then he made it a point to put on some music, and then he was even in the shower. He didn't stay in that bed. He didn't stay on the couch. He took his dog for a walk. He did all these things. Your mind and body is going to start to make the connection, guys. But it only works if you do it while you're anxious. You can't do it while you feel a manageable level of anxiety and then not do positive behaviors when you feel a high level of anxiety, because then you're just reinforcing to the brain that high level of anxiety must have been a real danger, right? And somebody in chat says, so how do you ignore and show the brain such? Well, it's the two keys, right? You're not going to mentally gas anything. You're going to remind yourself, okay, I know what's going on here. So you're not going to fight with the thoughts and feelings. You're going to remind yourself, okay, this is the false alarm. I'm not going to try to mentally fight with them. I'm just going to physically show my brain the truth. And that's where positive behaviors come in. The two main keys: don't fight with anything mentally and live your life. So you are not going to feel like doing this. And I know I've already said that multiple times, but I feel like this is a very important point to drive home. You're not going to feel like doing any of these things, guys. When you are extremely triggered, if you look at the way that you behave, you'll see that there's a lot of things you're still doing that are still telling the brain that danger is real. You're staying very defeated, very quiet, and you're not really living to your full potential. So next time you are triggered, and I mean triggered through the roof, I don't want you to go for the coping methods. I don't want you to go for the compulsions. I want you to do things that are going to benefit you in your recovery in your future. So if you're very anxious tonight, when you get off this stream, I want you to stay off Google trying to get that reassurance. And instead, I want you to go, I don't know, play a video game. Instead, I want you to go do the housework. Instead, I want you to go do whatever it is that you would normally do. Do whatever it is that a person who is healed would do. If you want to heal, you have to act like a person who is already healed. Anxiety is not, you can't wait for anxiety to leave to begin acting healed. You have to begin acting healed for anxiety to leave, right? And this takes time. And this takes time. So, guys, if you want to give yourself a very clear, simple objective tonight, and when I say simple, I understand that it takes work, I understand that it takes effort, and I understand that you're going to have to force yourself quite a bit. But if you want to give yourself a very clear example, I want you to remind yourself, when I am very, very triggered, I need to act as if I'm already healed. Are you going to feel like doing that? Nope. Is it going to take time? Yup. Is it going to be instant? Nope. Right? But you get my point, guys. There is no substitute for good behavior. There is no substitute for good behavior. And if you're one of those people who are convinced that you use positive behaviors, I want you to ask yourself one question tonight. Are you acting as if you are healed when your anxiety is triggered the highest? The highest. Are you acting as if you're healed? It doesn't count if you're only acting as if you're healed in your normal everyday life when anxiety is manageable. It only counts when you're triggered, right? So some people say, well, when I'm triggered, it goes out the window and I do this and I do that. Well, it's no wonder you're not making progress. All that positive behavioral work that you do when you have little to no anxiety, well, that's great. I'm glad you're living a positive life, but this only really counts when you're triggered. When you're triggered is when these positive behaviors count, right? We're not counting all the positive behaviors that you do when you just have little to no anxiety. We're only really focused on the positive behaviors you do when it's through the roof. Right? That's what we're looking at. Why? Because anxiety learns. When anxiety turns on, when anxiety is turned on, my bad. How did this work in the caveman days? How did they know when to defy their feelings? Well, in the caveman days, they didn't really have to defy their feelings. Not a lot of cavemen went around sensitized because, for the most part, their feelings were justified and there was real danger that they had to take action against, right? There was a lot of dangers in the caveman days. There was a lot of real life-threatening dangers that existed in the caveman days. So for the most part, the alarm was normally always justified, right? Now, I can't go back in time and tell you, maybe there was sensitized cavemen who lived boring lives and were sensitized, and Dr. Claire Weeks and myself didn't exist back then, so I don't know what the hell they did. I don't know. Maybe there was sensitized cavemen, and maybe some of those cavemen had anxiety disorders. I don't think anyone can answer that. But what I can tell you is that back in the caveman days, a lot of those alarms were justified, okay? But if you fast forward to present day, those alarms are not justified, and it's time to show your brain that. Right, it's time to show your brain that. So back in the caveman days, they're taking action because they have to take action, and that's totally justified. Nowadays, those alarms are not very justified. It's not often that someone finds themselves in a life-threatening situation, so you have to accept them as false alarms, and there is no action for you to take other than positive behavior to prove to the brain that those false alarms are indeed false. All right, you guys? So that is the point of tonight's stream. I want you to behave as if you're healed. You're going to have to make yourself, quote unquote, act a certain way, even though you don't feel like acting that way. But if you want to prove to your brain that this alarm is not needed, it's time to go ahead and live as if you are already healed, right? Now, that is the positive behaviors side of the two main keys. Our first two main key will always be do not get involved mentally, okay? There's nothing to mentally get involved with, right? You cannot think your way to recovery. You must live your way to recovery, and that's why the two main keys are what they are. If you cannot think your way to recovery and you have to live your way to recovery, then that's why the two main keys are what they are, because the two main keys are mentally, you're not doing much. You're not trying to fight against the thoughts and feelings mentally. You're just reminding yourself, okay, it is what it is. And physically, you're doing all those positive behaviors. So you cannot think your way to recovery. You must live your way to recovery. All right, you beautiful people, thank you for watching the point of tonight's stream. If you did enjoy it, please leave a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And with all that being said, guys, let me see here. No, okay, I thought we disconnected for a second. with all that being said, we are done with the point of tonight's stream. We're going to listen to some music, hang out with chat, answer any questions we might have. We did get a $20 tip during the stream there from Rick that says, "You're amazing, brother. Keep up the great work." Thank you so much, Rick. I really do appreciate it. Guys, if you'd like to support the stream, link is in the description. You can make it rain with the money cloud. Thank you, thank you. But anyway, if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. Let's get some music going, and let's hang out with chat. Let's do a quick roll call, man. Who do we still have in here with us? Who's still watching? Make yourself known, man. Make yourself known if you're still watching. We got some Neon Paradise playlist playing tonight, so... All right, I'm going to scroll the chat and see if we did miss any questions. Most anxiety disorders begin when we are doing ordinary behaviors. Like, are you suggesting, like you are suggesting we get back to, is that because we didn't have the accepting inner voice or stress or both? Well, you could mentally feel, Mint. Thank you so much, Mint. I'll address that in just a second. You can mentally fuel your anxiety into a sensitized state, right? Because the brain can become stressed if you do a lot of obsession, if you do a lot of negative thinking. That worry can stress the body, but you can't tell it to stop. You can only stress it out. To tell it to stop, you have to show it to stop. So, yeah, you can be doing ordinary behaviors, and then anxiety disorder starts because you have a panic attack that you then mentally fuel and go down the rabbit hole, and that stresses the nerves out, and then over time, your behaviors even get worse and worse, and now you see we got to do the two things to bring you back up. So the two things that started it, your quote-unquote anxiety disorder, is that you were mentally fueling the fire, causing a bunch of stress that sensitized the nerves, and physically your behavior started to get really crappy over time, which just reinforced, right, to the brain that the danger must exist. So we need to do the opposite of those two things that got you there to begin with, and that's why the two main keys are what they are, right? Mint, thank you so much for the $10 tip. Mint, you are lovely. Thank you so much. Please show some love in the chat to our tippers, guys. Please, please, please. Please show some love to Rick and Mint, guys. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. It is that time of year, man. It is tax season. Ugh. Gross. Disgusting. So I do appreciate the tips. It really helps me out. It really helps me out right now. Thank you, guys. Let's see. I'm making sure I didn't miss any other questions here. Hi, Wonderbro. Whenever I try positive behavior, something always pulls me back. Why? Well, that's just your natural. That's the alarm, right? That is the false alarm. So evolution and the anxiety, the protection mechanism, it doesn't want you to do positive behaviors. It wants you to run for your life. So that's the pull. That's why you feel a pull to not do positive behaviors, and that's why you need to do it anyway, because the alarm is indeed false, and you need to prove that to your brain. But there is a pull there, right? And that's why the pull is there. That's why the pull exists. Mr. Sky in the house, hanging out with all you, realizing my fantastic ways of handling stimulus. You always have a very interesting way of wording things, Sky, and I miss it, dude. I miss it when you're gone. I miss you when you're gone, Sky. I love you. I hope you're doing fantastic. We got Red. What's up, Red? Welcome to the chat. How are you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, see, that's what happens, Luis. I mean, it starts with maybe some panic or something, and then you mentally fuel the fire, which stresses your nerves out and creates more symptoms, blah, blah, blah. And then your behaviors start to follow suit. So there you go. You see that the opposite of the two main keys starts to happen. Negative behaviors start to happen. Mentally fueling starts to happen. And now we need to do the opposite of that. Now we need to do the two keys, which is not mentally fueling and positive behaviors. So you see, it's just, you just want to flip-flop that. You just want to flip-flop that. Had a lot of hurt with Sun that's not resolved, so don't think I can recover as full of fear. I don't, I'll tell you from personal experience, I don't really buy the whole I can't recover as long as I have an unresolved issue thing. I will say that if you can resolve certain issues in your life that are causing you stress, please feel free to do so, right? Obviously. But I won't say that I agree with the whole as long as I have an unresolved issue, I can't heal, because you can still practice the keys. You can still stay out of mental rabbit holes. You can still accept your thoughts and feelings without fueling them with an argument and trying to figure those thoughts out, right? And you can show your brain that these thoughts deserve less of an alarm over time, and then the positive behaviors also show the brain that there is no false alarm. So I agree that you should resolve any sort of stressors in your life if you can. But I don't agree that you can't recover as long as there's some stressor in your life, because every human, right, that's ever been there or recovered has stressors in their life. That's just going to happen. I also want to point out, Julie, that there's 99% probability that the reason this so-called stressor is causing you so much anxiety is because your nerves are tired. So you need to use those two main keys, and that's kind of the irony there. All right, guys, give me just a second, and I will be right back. Get your questions in, and we're going to answer those. All right, man, we're back. We're going to see if I missed any comments, any questions. I'm going to switch to my, let me turn on a light source here. I'm going to switch to my main camera because people find it hilarious when I show them what I look like when I'm not trying. I've got my robe and hoodie up, and it's kind of chilly, and all right, I'll just show you guys. Hello. Very tricky. They've been asked to do something they can't. Okay, I need to get caught up on the conversation here. Why does that feel like that's zoomed in? I don't know. Does my face look swollen to you guys? That feels really zoomed in to me. Can I not zoom that out a little bit? I feel like that's... Really upping my business. Was on Discord and changed phones, and now I can't log in anymore. Is Discord still active? If so, how I can get it back on? It is still active. I will drop a link right now. And let me know how this goes for you. Okay. Let me know how that link goes for you. That applies to everybody. If you want to join us on the Discord, there's a link. Check it out. Okay, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Hey, what about how you doing? I'm doing good, Ray. What's up, dude? A panic disorder doesn't start with a panic attack. It starts with you freaking yourself out afterwards. Absolutely. 110% agreement. Absolutely. Think you should reset the dimensions of the camera window? I have no clue. I used to be very tech savvy. Not so much anymore. Got to turn the autofocus off for sure. Oh, that just zoomed it in even more. Okay. It's as zoomed out as it can possibly be. Totally normal. It happens, but it's a long road to figuring that out on your own as well. Yeah, I think that's a shame. I think that's sad, but hey, that's why I wanted to do the channel, right? That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make the channel, because yeah, I've always thought it was pretty sad that there's not very much information out there, good information at least, on anxiety. So that was one of the big reasons I wanted to do the channel to begin with. But I agree, I absolutely agree. Oops. Okay, there we go. Discord link was just posted, so let me know how that goes for you, Julie. Let me know if that works for you. Are you aware of your own self-talk, mental rehearsing? You should be aware of your own self-talk, right? It's a skill that you should definitely learn. And if your self-talk is any sort of obsession, rumination, trying to fight with thoughts and feelings, then absolutely should make corrections. I had a question earlier, but I think it was swallowed by chat. Basically asked if doing positive behaviors was an aspect of acceptance if we are trying to change how we feel. So while you're doing these positive behaviors, if you are, I get what you're asking, it's a good question. While you're doing these positive behaviors, you should not be telling yourself things like, I'm doing this and I'm expecting instant results, or I'm doing this and I expect for my symptoms to go away immediately. If you're doing any sort of that mental talk, which is basically you telling yourself that you're doing this because you want your symptoms to go away right now, then that's just doing mental worry on top of positive behaviors, and it's going to kind of be like a back and forth, right? It's going to kind of be like a tug of war. You're going to be gassing yourself in one sense while trying to do positive behaviors in the other sense, which is really what we call white knuckling it. But if you don't have that mental sort of self-talk that is like, oh, I want instant results, I want blah blah blah, if you don't have that going on and you are practicing the accepting inner voice of, okay, I'm not fighting with these thoughts and feelings, you know, it is what it is, let it burn, and you're doing the positive behaviors, then that is not white knuckling it. That is what you should be doing, and that is healing. So I hope that answers your question. If you are doing positive behaviors with this horrible negative obsession and rumination going on and fighting your thoughts and feelings, you're only using one of the two main keys. But if you are doing the positive behaviors with the mental attitude of, okay, I'm just going to try to let this burn, you know, this is a part of it, then you're fine. You're fine, right? Oh my God, we have Maddie in here. What's up, Maddie? What is up, Maddie? You at work? I'm at work on break. Well, what's up? How are you doing? Oh, I absolutely agree with the panic statement, man. What the heck? Why are you not sleeping? Take a guess. Take a wild guess. I have screwed up my sleep schedule once more. Once more. For us to become anxious and harder to stop being so. Overthinking tips. Well, again, you catch it, right? You catch any sort of negative second fear, you catch any sort of overthinking, and you turn it into your accepting inner voice, right? A lot of it's going to come down to catching it. Those old sort of ways of thinking are going to pop up. The thoughts are going to pop up, the feelings are going to pop up. You catch it, you remind yourself, hey, it is what it is, and then you take a positive behavioral choice. You make a positive behavioral choice. That way the two main keys are going hand in hand, right? So you've got the accepting inner voice that comes in when you're fighting with your thoughts and feelings. You say, wait a minute, I'm not going to fight with those. I'm not going to do this worry. I know what's going on here. I'm going to let it burn. And then you make a positive behavioral choice with your physical action, and that's the two main keys working together. So let's say you're sitting there and you got an intrusive thought that won't leave you alone, and you notice that you're trying to figure it out. Tell yourself, wait a minute, I'm not going to try to figure that out. You know what? It is what it is. I'm going to let it be there, and I'm going to go do the dishes, right? So that's using the accepting inner voice, right? Allowing the thoughts and feelings to be, and then making a positive behavioral choice on top of using the accepting inner voice. That is the two main keys going right together, right? Does that make sense? That is the two main keys going right together. So it's catching any sort of a fight, having that accepting inner voice, and making a positive behavioral choice. Kind of like a rinse and repeat process there. Rinse and repeat process there. What's up, Fractual? Yeah, it's a lot of catching yourself mentality. It's a lot of catching yourself, If you're up in your head fighting with a thought and feeling, which means you're debating with it, you need to shut down the debate, give yourself an accepting reminder, and then make a positive behavioral choice. That way you're utilizing both of the two main keys. Some people try to sit around and only utilize the mental part, but then they're not doing anything but positive behavior-wise. They're just doing coping methods and compulsions. They're not living. It's going to be hard for your brain to get that message. You need to get rid of the Google tabs. You need to get rid of as many coping methods and compulsions as possible, and try to do things you enjoy. You don't have to stuff your day 24/7, but try to do some things that you enjoy. Did you find it hard physically to do stuff with the adrenaline? Oh yeah, absolutely. It can be difficult, but it can be done. I think that's a good way to put it. It can be difficult, but it can be done. You're not going to feel like doing a lot of those things, but they can be done, even though they can be a bit difficult. It probably is, Sky, but at this point I've called them what I've called them for so long that I'll more than likely just continue to. Like I don't think I could remember anything else, and if I did, I would forget it. So I'll probably just continue to call him Fractual. We appreciate you too, Scott. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. What time is it for everybody else? Because I know it's like ungodly late for me. Almost 4:30 in the morning now. Don't argue with idiots. Yes. Bring you down to their level and beat you with years of experience at being stupid. I love it. I love it. I'm going to remember that one. I'm going to remember that one, Luis. He has some good ones I keep in rotation. Absolutely. I like it. I like it. All right, guys, we got about 15 minutes. We got about 15 minutes left in tonight's stream. So if you have any questions, now is your time to ask those questions. Morning for a lot of people. Okay. Oh, the washing machine blew up. I've been washing dishes by hand for so long. I don't know if I could get used to a washing machine, to be honest. I think ours blew up long time ago. I don't even know if I trust washing machines to do the job. You know what I mean? I feel like I can do it better with my a good old sponge. I know some people prefer it. $20 left to tip goal. We will hold the streak. Yeah, we only have 20 left for the tip goal, guys. 20 left for the tip goal to continue the 244-day streak. Only 20 left. We got about 15 minutes left in the stream. Oh, not a dishwashing machine, but a clothes washing machine. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, that's a little bit more unfortunate. I hope you can get that taken care of. Yeah, that sucks. Why is figuring out not the best thing to do, especially when we feel like we need to? Because it's fuel, right? It's fuel. The more you try to fight thoughts with thoughts, the more important they're going to become. You can't beat your mind at a chess match. You can't beat your own brain at a chess match. So when it comes to anxiety, OCD, those sort of things, the more you fight with a thought, the stronger they become. And the reason you can't figure out, and that's not the route to go, is because when you try to figure out, you tell your brain that those thoughts are important. And guess what happens when you tell your brain those thoughts are important? It's going to give you those thoughts even more now because you've told your brain they're important. So if you try to figure out, that is essentially telling your brain, this thought is dangerous, this thought is important, and I want you to keep bringing it back up. So the brain keeps bringing it back up, you keep trying to figure it out, so the brain keeps bringing it back up even more, and you're not going to win that one. The brain will continue to bring it back up and continue to bring it back up. You will not be able to win that one, right? Because the more you try to figure out, the more you tell the brain, hey, keep bringing this back, keep bringing this back. Hey, Wonder Bro, I don't know why you didn't answer my question on Facebook on Gmail. I understand that you're a busy guy, but it would only take a few minutes for you to answer it. I understand, Kevin, but you also got to understand where I'm coming from too, dude. I mean, you got to understand, man. I got a life outside of this, and right now is actually not going too swell for me. I've got a tax bill I can't afford that I don't know how I'm going to afford, and I just had a tooth caused me excruciating pain for the past 2 weeks. I have not been in a very good place, both mentally or physically, due to everything that's going on. So you got to understand, you know, people think I'm a superhuman or something, but that's just not true. You know, mentally I'm exhausted, physically I'm exhausted, and I'm very concerned with things going on right now that I don't talk about because there's no sense in talking about them. And yeah, man, it's not easy. Life's not easy for me at the moment. So I'm sorry I didn't answer your email, and I'm sorry that you feel offended by that. But that's just the truth of the matter, dude. That's just the truth of the matter. Life is not great for me at the moment. I wasn't planning on coming here and talking about that, but since you're upset that I didn't answer your email, I guess I'll explain why I didn't answer your email right away. Yeah, man, I'm human too. You know, I'm human too. No offense, no hard feelings, but I'm sorry. I will get to it when I can. Yeah, I never like to make streams about me. I don't even talk about what's going on in my life 90% of the time. But when someone's offended that I didn't answer an email, I feel like it's necessary to explain that I'm not trying to avoid you. I'm not trying to blow you off. It's just, dude, man, I'm going through some crap, and I got some things I'm really trying to get taken care of. And that would be the reason why I don't answer all my emails, or I don't answer all the Facebook messages I get, because outside the streams, there's a lot of things that, and I live a pretty good life, but there's a lot of things, just like everybody, just being a human being, there's a lot of things that happen that I don't talk about, right? There's no need to talk about it, but that explains why I don't always get to everybody's messages on social media or emails or stuff like that. You got to remember, outside of these streams, I got a whole life that happens. Right, I got a whole life that happens, and like I said, there's a bunch of dumb shit that's happening at the moment that's got me a bit stressed out. But we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be okay. But yeah, dude, it's not personal if I don't answer your emails or messages right away. It's not personal. It's just I got things I gotta do, man. That I got a life I gotta take care of outside of the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I do apologize if I come off a little grouchy right there. I guess that just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. It's been stressful, dude. I've been stressed. I don't know what else to say. I've been stressed. I'm sorry. That's okay. Well, it's okay that you said that, Kevin. We forgive each other. We'll hug it out. Let's see. We got a $40 tip from, I believe, Mr. Sky, right? Said, I don't know if I can... Studness. L Stud God, love you. Mr. Sky, thank you so much for the $40 tip. That takes us to tip goal. Not only to tip goal, that breaks tip goal. That takes us to what? Is my math right? 70? Right? 40, 50, 60? I can't do basic math. Yes, we have broken tip goal at 70, and we are on to a 245-day streak. Thank you, Mr. Sky. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. Now I feel a little bad for being shitty with you, Kevin. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to be shitty with you. It's just, yeah, I got a lot of stress going on at the moment. You guys mean the world to me. It's just I would prefer if you ask your questions on the stream, because, that's what we're here for. I'll answer your questions on the stream, because once the stream goes off, and unless I'm doing a coaching session, of course, once the streams go off and the coaching sessions are over, there's other things that I got to take care of, so I don't really spend a whole lot of time on the subject of anxiety if I'm not on a stream or if I'm not doing a coaching session. And that's because I got to make time for myself, outside of doing the streams and the coaching sessions. So I'm sorry if that came off as shitty, Kevin. I apologize. So if you get stressed, does anxiety come back? No, not necessarily, right? Everybody gets stressed. I think what you're referring to is a state of sensitization. No, you don't just immediately fall into this deep state of sensitization when you get stressed. No, you're stressed. You're not sensitized. There's a difference between being stressed and being sensitized, and how you handle that stress, right? Like, am I stressed right now? Yes, absolutely. Am I up in my head obsessed about it or trying to figure it out? Or no, I'm taking it one day at a time, and I'm still doing the normal things I would normally do. So there's a difference between being stressed and handling stress like a normal person, and being stressed and then sensitizing yourself over it, right? Which is what people essentially did. It's what I did back in the day. So big difference between being stressed and just having normal human stress that you deal with and you still get up and live every day and you don't obsess about it. Difference between that and sensitizing yourself. There's a huge difference. Now, does the skills that I learned during my sensitization journey help me today? Absolutely. 110%. 110%. That's why I say these skills are good life skills and not just good anxiety skills. So that was a good question, Red. Thank you for asking. Hey man, I just wanted to say I appreciate you. I understand life is light. Thank you, Sky. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of communication channels, and it can be overwhelming. I don't want anyone to think that, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I just want to, stick up for myself for a second. I don't want anyone to think I was being like purposely shitty to Kevin for being upset that I didn't answer his email. It's just outside of the streams and outside of the coaching sessions, I'd like to leave a little bit of time for me to just do my thing. You know what I mean? Talking about this subject, I love to talk about it. I love healing people. I love helping people. But if you have a question, just ask it on the stream, because chances are I'm not going to check my emails for specific anxiety questions, because I'd be doing that all day long. I got to leave some time to do other things that are not just anxiety, right? Let's see. I think I'm caught up on the questions, though. I know you get everything together. Things will for sure work out. Thank you for that, Winning. Like I said, I don't even like to bring up when things are going on, because it's not what we're here for, and it's not your guys' responsibility to worry about me, so I don't really bring up anything when I'm doing streams and stuff, but I felt like I had to justify that situation. But I think we're good now. I think we're good. I think we come to an understanding. No hard feelings. Everything is fine. Let me scroll up, see what I missed. Sky saving the tip goal and the taxes. Yes, I'm going to definitely be putting most of that back. All of it, I think, from this stream will be going back. Does exercise make symptoms worse, or is it the jargon? I like that word, jargon. It is the jargon you tell yourself about the exercise. It is the jargon. You've got that absolutely correct. Of course, exercise does lead to real physical symptoms like increased heart rate, but all the jargon, I love that word. Thank you for using that word to give me an excuse to use it. It's all the jargon that you add to like the increased heart rate, for example, that's going to lead to extra stress. It's going to lead to psyching yourself out, as they call it. You're freaking out, man. You ever heard that before? That's what that is. So you got it right, Kay. You got it right. We need to smack talk soon on a live, Sky. We need to get back into the podcast. I've kind of abandoned the podcast a little bit. We only did a few of them. It's not like we did a ton of them or anything, but I did have plans to do more, and we just never did. I need to get back into making those plans for more podcasts. People seem to enjoy those, so. All right, guys, give me just a second. We'll be right back. I'm not going to end the stream at exactly 1 hour since we went over on the tip goal. I'm going to stick around for a bit longer. I want to give back to you guys for giving to me. So I will be back, and we're going to continue to hang out. Just give me just a second. All right, we are back. What's up, TJ? Off topic, I can't speak, and probably a controversial take, but I have a few drinks one night a week. Sometimes notice myself feeling anxiety come on, but I just don't care enough about it, and it subsides quickly. So, yeah, it's no, it's not uncommon for alcohol and then the resulting hangover is what gets you, for the hangover to cause anxiety symptoms, right? But if you're able to just shrug it off and you don't add fuel to that, then that's fine. You know, you're allowed to make your own choices, man. You know, you're a grown adult. If you want to drink, you can drink. Just be aware that, yeah, it's not uncommon for drinking to cause anxiety symptoms, especially the following day. That is not uncommon. But if that doesn't bother you and you're able to not obsess about that and live your life and you're able to not stress your brain out over it, then that's, you know, totally your decision to make, right? Totally your decision to make. Jargon is a cool word, rarely used, I believe. Rarely used, but I want to start a movement to where we can start using the word jargon more often. Can we start a movement where we use the word jargon more often, please? I'm all for that. I am all for that. Pretty please? Everybody's moved on from the topic, but I feel bad for Kevin now. I feel like an asshole. Kevin, wherever you are, dude, I hope you got my point. I hope you understood that I wasn't being a dick. I was not trying to be a dick. I have a list of fun to say words. I'm not even gonna attempt that one. Spatula, hobnob, tarantula. Okay, I got most of them. I feel like I got most of them. Oh, my light just went out. Hi, Chris. What's up, Craig? How you doing, dude? How you doing, Mr. Craig? I am in the dark. Looks kind of creepy. Looks kind of creepy. I'm okay. It's good to hear it. Good to hear it, Craig. It's a rainy night here, dude. Rainy night. I'm sure Kevin will understand. I'm sure he will. I don't like having to be aggressive with people. I don't like having to do that. Gobbledygook? Yeah, you're right, Minch. You got to learn how to set boundaries. Dark outside for some reason? What time is it for you, Mr. Craig? Is it a time it's not supposed to be dark? I'm confused. Did you go to university? I did not go to university. I did not even finish high school. I didn't even get my GED. I have like a 8th grade education. No, not an 8. I have like a 10th grade education. (1:42 a.m.) Well, then that's probably why it's dark outside, Mr. Craig. That's probably why it's dark outside. I'm just goofing off. I got you. Words can be fun, however. I saw a post that said if highly intelligent words are used in conversation, the person on the other end will look at you as stupid because they don't understand. Interesting. And I'm sure most people believe it's the other way around, right? Like if I use highly intelligent words, then I will come off as smart and intelligent when really the other person is just looking at you like you are dumb. I did not know that. I dropped out after grade 11. Yeah, something like that. Something I forget what year it was, but I'm in the same boat as you, Sky. I went to the University of Life. There you go, Luis. The University of Life. The University of bouts of sensitization that forced me to learn a lot about a particular subject. That's the university I went to. The University of Forced Education through Traumatic Experience. The University of Education through Traumatic Experiences. Gotta love it. Forced education. There you go, Luis. That's another way to put it. Forced education. A lot of psychology talk tonight. I always like to learn things about the brain. I've always found it to be a very interesting topic, the old brain. The old noggin. You guys are going to hear me ruffling bags around for a second. Just give me a moment. That university has a high attendance rate but lower recommendations. There you go, dude. Couldn't have said it any better myself, Winning. Just on the topic of the brain and its functioning. I decided to go ahead with my eye surgery this month. Nice, dude. I know you've been pretty frightened by that, Craig, for some time. So I hope it goes well for you, dude. I support you. I got your back. University of Life is hardcore. Right? It is. It's forced. There's no way around it. You either learn and you grow or you repeat the same class over and over. That's the University of Life for you. You learn, you adapt, you change, you grow, and you overcome, or you take the same class over and over until you do get it. That's pretty much it. Do you think that the wiring in the brain creates a personality? It's a tricky question. Bear with me. The wiring in your brain creates your personality. I think your personality is made up of experiences and how you adapt to those experiences and what you take from those experiences. So I think your personality is largely in due to the things that you go through, the things that you experience in your life that kind of shape your reality, your responses and your reactions to certain things, certain stimuli. Do I think that that can be changed? So can you ultimately change your personality? Yes, you can go from a scared, unconfident person to a confident person, for example. But that is going to require going against the old wiring, what you call your personality, and go a new route, try different things, try new things, behave in a new way. It's funny because the two keys, they change your life, not only with your anxiety, but really, if you think about it, the two main keys can change your personality for the better, right? You can become more confident. You can respond to certain things in a way that you normally wouldn't respond to them. So yeah, I do think that wiring in the brain creates your personality in a sense. Yes, absolutely. Do you think we have a soul? Damn, Sky breaking out the big questions tonight. If I'm heading into a no-go zone for the channel, let me know. The only no-go zones that we have here on the channel are really politics and religious debates, because, why would we even have religious debates? Everybody's allowed to believe what they believe. As far as, do I think we have a soul? Yes. I think we have a soul. Howdy, hope you are alright, Chris. Thank you, Ghost. Really appreciate it, dude. Man, guys, I love you guys, dude. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. I'm sorry I couldn't stream there for a while with my tooth pain and everything going on. I apologize you guys are telling me it's okay, but I just want to go ahead and apologize for getting a little upset at Kevin there. Yeah, life's been stressful. And it's nice to come in here and hang out with you guys. I know that I'm here to help you, and I'll always do that. I'll always answer your anxiety questions. I'll do my best to make your life better, to make your life easier, and to do the best that I can for you. But I want to just say that I do appreciate how much better you guys make my lives. And I'm not just talking about the support, the financial support with the channel. This is what I do for a living. And I'm not just talking about the financial support. I'm talking about in general. Like coming on here and being able to talk to you guys and hang out with you guys and, talk about random stuff. It feels good. And it's like having, your own little family there. Your own little family. And it's really stress relieving. And I enjoy it, right? So, again, I'm not just talking about I'm thankful for you guys partaking in my business, right? Supporting the streams and coaching and stuff like that. I'm thankful for you guys supporting me as a person. You guys give me somebody to talk to and relate to and just bullshit with, and it feels nice. So I appreciate it. And I don't know why this spill is happening. I don't know why I'm going on this little rant right here, but it is what it is. And I just want you to know that you are loved and you are appreciated, and you guys help me more than you realize. I came into this stream pretty damn stressed over the whole tax situation. And I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to mention it. I never do. I'm just going to treat it as a normal stream. And you guys have actually cheered me up, right? And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just want you guys to know you do more for me than you probably realize that you do. As somebody who has been around a lot of loss and seen too much stuff nursing at old homes, it's in my own losses. Sorry, I can't read. We are internal beings living the human experience, and if you don't believe that, you are what I call a muggle, because you don't know about the magic yet. There you go. I know 100% we do have a soul that left this body. In 1990 was an out-of-body experience. Craig, that was just acid. Craig, that was LSD. I'm just picking on you, Craig. I do not mind the discussion of deep topics, although do try to keep in mind that we don't want for that to stumble into religious debates. Try to keep that in mind and obey by that if you would. I would really appreciate it. We love you, Chris. I love you, Ghost. Wonder Bro, what's up, dude? Hello, Wonder Bro. Hello. The personality question was so good because there are some who think our personalities are basically who we are and it can be changed. It can be changed from birth, but I believe it can be changed if behaviors match the personality you want to have. I always say act like the person you want to become, and you'll slowly start to become that person, because the wiring in your brain does make up your personality, right? And if you change that wiring, you're going to change who you are as a person, and it's going to come down to your choices and behaviors, right? Two main keys. Let's go, baby. So I agree with you 110% winning. And if you disagree with that, that is totally fine. It's your opinion. But I agree with winning 100% on that. Chris, you never know how much you helped my life with this anxiety. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for that. I think the music just switched to like some sort of 80s synthwave or something. I don't know what this is, but it sounds like CSI Miami or something. So you're right, man. Maybe we should change it. I don't mind deep conversations. I don't mind philosophy. In fact, one of my biggest hobbies is philosophy. I just don't want it to trickle into a possible conversation about religion, which turns into a debate. But if we keep it with just philosophy, that's fine. Just don't start to put in your own religious beliefs about, you know, what happens and so forth and so on. Just try to keep it, you know, you guys get what I'm saying. It's hard to explain, but you get what I'm saying, I'm sure. Just don't turn it into a debate. Oh, conversations like this are definitely the real deal, Sky. I agree with you. In fact, there are times that I wish I could discuss the topic more, but I just don't know how many anxious. You got to understand, you know, we're catering to anxious people here on the channel with my streams. And if I start doing streams on deep, you know, philosophy and stuff like that, that can get a little bit intense. And you got to understand, you know, we are catering to sensitized people who probably cannot absorb or digest certain intense information or opinions or beliefs, and they can really overthink it and psych themselves out. So that's why I don't stumble on the topic. That's why, you know, if that wasn't the case, I'd probably be doing streams every now and then on some pretty interesting and intriguing beliefs and stuff that I have. But I don't, because you got to think, you know, we are dealing with sensitized people here, right? And some sensitized people may be able to handle it, and other sensitized people, we need to focus on helping them, you know, instead of psyching them out with philosophy and stuff. So that's why I don't, you know, make streams on that. But I do love it. I do love the conversation. So, man, I have to go get ready. We are having great topics, but take care, everyone. Enjoyed the stream very much. Thank you, Winning, for being here. Appreciate you, dude. I have to remember why this channel exists. You're not the only one, Sky. I also have to remember why this channel exists. Sometimes I get on those topics, and I probably shouldn't, because, you know, sensitized individuals, and, you know, everybody knows what it feels like to be sensitized, and I don't think a sensitized person, most sensitized people are not going to be able to handle streams on very, you know, intense streams on things like death and all that, you know, so we tend to not do that. I'd rather them just focus on the advice and get the advice and use it, and then who knows, maybe one day I'll meet them somewhere, and then we can talk about all this stuff when they're in a better place mentally, right? All right, beautiful people, man. This stream is almost at an hour and a half. We're going to go ahead and start to wind it down here. It's been a great stream tonight, guys. Like I said, I came into this feeling pretty stressed, but hanging out with you guys, it feels nice, dude. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Thank you for everything that you do for this channel. Thank you for a good stream. And, yeah, I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, as always, stay awesome.